Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to Citizens of the World. I'm Al Zucaro. I'm your host. We are here in studio in lovely Boca Raton, Florida, in sunny South Palm Beach County, the epicenter of the Western Hemisphere. You know, there's so much going on right now. I've got a file full of stuff. I don't know how much we're going to get to tonight, but first thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to introduce a new series. It's a series where we're going to focus on local authors and artists. Tonight we'll be featuring Mark Hansen, a former member of the school board who's written a book about teens and the success that they will have in their life. Fireworks and Politics will feature a two-part segment of Newt Gingrich talking about immigration, which is the hot topic of the day, and gun control, which is the just as hot a topic. Kudos and Chaos will have a number of items that are of local interest. And finally, we will conclude the show with our video travel segment, and we'll be featuring the country of Indonesia tonight, and we'll look forward to having you and your audience enjoy that. As you know, the show is brought to you by Fugazi International Travel. That's www.fugazitravel.com, and Palm Beach Regional Center, which is www.palmbeachregionalcenter.com. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be right back. We are, all of us, the residents of a swiftly shrinking globe, where what was once local is fast becoming global, and our decisions and opinions resonate well beyond our own borders. Join me each week, your host, Al Zucaro, from the epicenter of the Western Hemisphere, Boca Raton, Florida, in sunny South Palm Beach County, for a pointed look at politics, immigration, culture, and what it means to be a citizen of the world. Well, folks, we're back in the studio, and as I indicated in my introduction tonight, we are starting a new series, and that series is going to be focusing on local authors and the books that they are writing and the influences that they're having. Tonight, we are pleased and privileged to have sitting in the studio with us Mark Hansen, who has been a friend for many, many years now, a former political figure. There is life after politics, as you have found out, as I have found out. Yes, there is.
Thank you.
And Mark has written a number of books at this point in time. Tonight, we're going to focus on his latest one, which is Success 101 for Teens, Dollars and Cents for the Winning Financial Life. Mark, welcome, and thank you very much for coming into the studio.
Oh, Al, thanks. Thank you for having me and having me as your guest.
First, let me congratulate you. I understand you have become a father in the last year.
That is correct. It's
Boy,
a very
girl?
Exciting girl.
Little girl?
Yeah, Adriana.
Well, that's outstanding.
Yeah,
and
she's
what's it like
she's
being
great.
a father?
It's terrific. She's full of energy, so it keeps us going.
Oh, good. Very good. And congratulations on that.
Thank you so
much. And congratulations on your book. I understand that this book is the third book that you've published.
It is. The third book. This is the second one in the series, the Success 101 for Teens series, and it's just very exciting. Paragon House, fortunately, they agreed to publish this as well, so it's been great.
Well, before we get into the book, let's tell the audience a little bit about how you come to a subject matter that is designed to help young people learn. You have touched education in a number of ways, and a couple of serious ways here in Palm Beach County. You were a member of the school board. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I remember 6 years. I served 2 terms, 2002 through 2008. Phenomenal opportunity. And having the opportunity to make a difference in our schools and our youths.
Just so the audience is aware, Palm Beach County School Board actually is like the 6th largest school district in the entire United States.
Close. It would be the 11th largest in the country.
11th largest in the country.
And growing. We're seeing a continued population come here to Florida, and
now, if I remember my
foresee that
statistics
continuing.
right, it's somewhere around 125,000 students.
We're up to about 174,000 now, in that range,
and over 100 different languages spoken on a daily basis.
It's amazing.
Amazing, and it touches a lot of things. I mean, it has a lot of activities, particularly in terms of technology. Has its own internal broadcasting system, and it teaches kids a lot of things that are not really recognized.
Well, it is. It's just the growth, not only in technology, but the career academies, really hands-on experience for our kids, and the results are proving very fruitful.
You know, it was interesting. Last week we did that event. Yvonne did that event with Palm Beach State College, and Dr. Gallen gave a big kudos to the new superintendent and the school board, and announced a major initiative. I know you're not up on all of the details, but there is a good relationship between the community college and the school board.
Well, there is, and it's just so valuable, and it's valuable for everybody, because when the encouraging the kids that are graduating from high school to go to college, and Palm Beach State College is certainly a great choice.
Now, I know you've never actually been a teacher, but you have a number of experiences in your life that put you in seminars and lectures for young people. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Seminars, workshops. I've been giving those for over about 20 years now, and many schools, many rallies, conventions, and many lives that you're reaching, and certainly over time, and you're bumping into these individuals no matter what state you might be in. They might have seen you or heard you on a radio show, or have seen you on a television show, or heard you in a seminar, and it's rewarding when somebody says, "Thank you for what you shared. I never forgot that."
And you have a website?
We do.
Go ahead.
www.success101forteens.com.
Okay, now, this is the number 2 edition, or number 2
Correct.
book in this series. What inspired the series? And is it both under the phrase Success 101?
Yes, both are. Over the years, when I had served here in Palm Beach County as a school board member, the idea of youth, empowering our youth to be the best that they can be, as we all do as adults. But I have taken the market, our youth market, and if I'm able to impart some ideas and thoughts that could be helpful, that's terrific. So, some ideas, some things that I've learned, some experiences that I've shared, and with that, through the seminars and writing that down, and over time putting those into the idea of writing a book, and then pitching that book to different publishers, and finally locating one that had the interest in picking it up to publish.
ParagonHouse.com out of St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yes.
Outstanding. And the book is available, the series are available in most bookstores and on Amazon?
Yes. All the internet sites, Amazon.com, all the different channels there, and along with any bookstore, you certainly can get the book.
Okay, the subtitle is Dollars and Cents for a Winning Financial Life, and then under that there is a graphic, and it says Saving, Giving, Budgeting, Planning, Learning, and Goal Setting. Mm-hmm. You know, as adults, we sort of take advantage, advantage of our knowledge, and these basics are not something that we appreciate as much as you probably do in terms of imparting this kind of basic information to young people who may never have had the experience of keeping a checkbook, or having to write a budget, or figure out how they're going to pay for tomorrow's lunch.
Right. And we can't afford not to impart these principles that we've shared in this work with our youths, because they're going to be inheriting the world that we leave to them. And we've been going through we've had a global meltdown that has impacted everybody in one way or another. And the idea with this work here was doing what we could, so hopefully that the times that we've been going through would not happen again.
Well, that's good. Let's take a moment's break here, and then when we come back, let's dig a little deeper into your motivation and where you're going to take this series and how you expect it will benefit the community.
Great. Look forward.
We'll be right back, folks. We're here with Mark Hansen, the author of Success 101 for Teens, Dollars and Cents for a Winning Financial Life, one of our established local authors here in Palm Beach County as part of our series, and recognizing that culture always precedes commerce, and education is part of culture. Thank you, folks. We'll be right back. Well, folks, that was an incredible interview with Mark Hansen. Thank you very much, Mark, for being here. We appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck with your series, and we are now going to move on to fireworks and politics. This week, I was privileged to actually receive a a taped or a video production about Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich, as you know, was my selection to be the Republican nominee for president last year. He didn't make it, but he was the person that had the most sensible position on immigration of all of the candidates, and he is now done a video that is going to talk about what is becoming the hottest topic in Washington, D.C., immigration, and then he's also going to be talking about gun control. So it's a two-part event. The first is tonight. The next will be later on in the week, and we hope you enjoy it. It's Newt Gingrich, and this is actually a precursor. I'll be traveling to Washington, D.C. on February 14th, and I will be attending a luncheon where Newt is the keynote speaker, and I'm looking forward to an opportunity to actually speak with him directly. So let's, without further ado, move into part one of a two-part series, Newt Gingrich on immigration.
Newt Gingrich, it's great to talk to you as always, sir. Good to be with you. All right, so the chorus seems to be getting louder within the GOP. People like you say the party needs to modernize, and immigration reform is at the heart of that push. Does this new bipartisan immigration plan help Republicans modernize?
Well, I hope that if we can find some way to get a real bill passed. Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida, is doing a great job of providing leadership on this very difficult issue. And he makes the point that we already have de facto amnesty. The truth is there are millions of people here who aren't going to be deported. They're not being in any way affected. And the question is, how can we get to a legal system? How can we get to control of the border? How can we ensure that people learn English and learn American history so they're truly being assimilated into America? And I think that Senator Rubio is offering very important leadership on this issue.
And Senator Rubio's leadership and proposals sound very similar to what you proposed. And about this time last year, your own party, though, was criticizing you for your immigration plan during the primary. We heard Romney calling for that self-deportation, but some in your own party said that your plan was essentially de facto amnesty because you didn't want to split up families, including senior citizens, and grandma is often the term that you use. Would you say, though, that this immigration plan, now that it's being proposed and now that it's being taken seriously by the Republican Party, that you've been vindicated?
Well, I don't know if I've been vindicated, but I thought at the time, when I said what I thought was just common sense, we're not the kind of country that's going to deport a grandmother who's been here 25 years. And I thought when Governor Romney said, well, she'll self-deport, that it made no sense at all. Because, first of all, grandmothers aren't going to voluntarily leave their grandchildren. Second, the immediate impact of Governor Romney's position was to isolate him, not just with Latino Americans, but also with Asian Americans. People tend to forget. President Obama did better with Asian Americans, 74%, than he did with Latino Americans, 71%. When people in the Latino community were asked by Univision, what's your reaction to this self-deportation of grandmothers? 50% dropped away from Romney and said it was unacceptable. So I thought, while that might have been a clever comment in a debate in the primaries, it was a devastatingly destructive comment for a general election.
Yeah, and it certainly appeared that way based on the results of the election. But also, contrary to popular belief, though, the GOP doesn't really have as big of a diversity problem as some people might lead us to believe. I mean, especially if you just look at the governor's offices across the country, and also, of course, the only black United States senator just so happens to be a Republican. But still, there does remain this perception problem. What do you think is the best way for the GOP to fix that?
Well, I think we have to have much more inclusion. Our governors, as you pointed out, have done a wonderful job. When you have a Governor Susana Martinez in New Mexico, you have Governor Bobby Jindal, who's an Indian American. In Louisiana, you have Governor Nikki Haley, who's Indian American. In South
Brian
Carolina,
Sandoval as well.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
And by the way, I thought it was particularly nice that Governor Nikki Haley ended up appointing Senator Tim Scott as an African-American senator in the United States Senate. So in a sense, we're making a lot of progress at the governor's level, but we clearly have a problem in terms of national politics. And I think that's going to require very systematic work, largely to bring people in. I mean, you go talk to Latino small businesses or Asian American small businesses, they have all the same problems everybody else has. They would just like to think the Republican Party was open to them and was interested in them. and that they had a potential role to play in that party.
Does the party run the risk of sounding like it's maybe pandering to minorities if it focuses so much on race and not so much on the issues? For example, I'm sure you remember that Pew Hispanic Center study that showed education, health care, jobs, and the economy were far more important than immigration reform to Hispanic voters.
Well, I think our national chairman, Reince Priebus, had it correctly when he said, immigration never scores first with immigrant groups unless the issue is immigration. But if you tell somebody you're going to deport their grandmother, they don't listen to you on jobs or taxes or regulations or education, because they're horrified that you're going to deport their grandmother. So I think you have to get immigration off the table to then have a conversation, which I think we can win. You look at, for example, Latino Americans who are very family-oriented, very education-oriented, very faith-based, very strong potential there for conservative values to become primary drivers of their vote if we get past this question of whether or not the Republican Party is open to them.
And that's where the question remains at this point. So let's move on, though, and talk about Governor Bobby Jindal. He quite famously recently said the GOP needs to, quote, stop being the stupid party. What specifically do you think he meant by that, and what was your reaction when you heard his soundbite?
Well, I broke up laughing because when I was first running for Congress back in the 1970s, Irving Kristol wrote an article for the Wall Street Journal entitled The Stupid Party, and he was talking about Republicans. We have had a long period with Ronald Reagan and the contract with America as maybe the two exceptions. But we've had a long period where we had bumper sticker politics on our side, and frankly, people don't want bumper sticker politics. They want real solutions. How are their children going to get educated? What are we going to do about the cost of tuition for higher education? How do we find a better solution for health care? If you don't like government-run health care, fine. Find a solution that average, everyday folks believe will make their lives better. I think we've got to be a party of solutions. That requires a party that thinks, that studies, that tries out ideas. All too many Republicans have been afraid to be the party of ideas, and that's been unfortunate because that means all the ideas are on the left and they're almost all bad.
And you recently talked about the challenge that's going to be facing the GOP in 2016 if let's say Hillary Clinton is the nominee, as many people would suspect at this point. You mentioned the fact that there's going to be Bill Clinton out there on the campaign trail and President Barack Obama out there on the campaign trail as well, and assume he's going to be popular in 2016. Do you really feel like Hillary Clinton would be virtually unbeatable?
No, I think she can be beaten. I think it's going to be a very, very hard job. We need to understand that Bill Clinton is today the most popular politician in America. Hillary Clinton is the second most popular politician in America, and Barack Obama is clearly more popular than his Republican opponents. So you're faced with a pretty powerful team running for the other side in 2016. We've got to do a lot of work in the next 3 years to get ourselves ready to compete in that environment. I think we can win it. I think that in the end, big government, high taxes, big bureaucracy, a weak foreign policy are not good for America. But I think we need to understand just how big the mountain is that we're setting.
Welcome back, folks. And I'm going to go into K&K today, and it cannot go without recognizing and without honoring an incredible man who recently passed away. You may have heard that the headline of the article that I'm reading from actually says, "Feisty ex-New York mayor dies. Ed Koch, 1924 to 2013. When I first came to Florida, the standing joke was that Palm Beach County was simply the sixth borough of New York, and the mayor was Ed Koch. Ed Koch was a familiar figure down here in Palm Beach County, having traveled here often, vacationed here, entertained here, enjoyed his life here. Mayor Koch was an incredible man, and I'm only going to read one paragraph out of this article that recognizes him and talks to his greatness and to the type of person he was. He was a 3-term mayor, and it says Koch, A 12-year mayoralty encompassed the fiscal austerity of the late 1970s and the radical conflicts and municipal corruption scandals of the 1980s, an era of almost continuous discord that found Koch called in a maelstrom day after day. And he said, "I'm the sort of person who will never get ulcers." And he said that, and he answered his own question. He said, "Why? Because I say exactly what I think. I'm the sort of person who might give other people ulcers." Now, with that said, I want to thank Mayor Koch for his leadership, his dedication, and his devotion to public service. And I was a big fan. So we go on now and we recognize him for the greatness that he was. And then finally, I want to give a great kudos to Palm Beach State College, to my wife Yvonne Boyce for the event, a conversation with Steve Wozniak. It was incredible. 650 people turned the Kravitz Center into something it's never been before. And Mr. Wozniak was the most generous with his time, most easiest interview that anybody could particularly answer, and gave sage advice to the young people in the audience. What an incredible event. The question is, what do we do next year? With that said, folks, we're coming to an end of the show. And today, our travel segment, brought to you by Fugazi International Travel, www.fugazitravel.com, is the great country of Indonesia. And with that said, we'll see you at the next show. Bye-bye now.
Have you ever dreamt of traveling to a faraway land, across a vast ocean, to experience something simply unforgettable? Do you crave a new experience where you can discover and explore, where your dream becomes a reality? Now's the right time to make that journey to Indonesia, the world's largest archipelago, where the sun never sleeps, where you're greeted by the warmth of its white sands, beckoning all to explore the wonders that it holds. On land, it's time to relax in the comfort of a luxurious hotel, where hospitality is a part of the Indonesian culture. Now discover the diversity of Southeast Asian cuisine. At the home of the Spice Islands, a unique dining experience awaits you, one that will tantalize the taste buds and leave you wanting more. Now it's time to go back in time and explore the grandeur of ancient sites that reflect Indonesia's diverse history, places that remain untouched by the modern world. No matter what corner of this country you explore, you'll find something that contrasts. Past and present. Slow and fast-paced. Gentle and strong. The country's soul is as deep as its past, as dynamic as its future. This is the time to visit Indonesia. To see all its riches and take a little home with you. Both modern and traditional, all created by skilled craftsmen using techniques passed down from generation to generation. And there's also time to calm the soul, to ponder and reflect, or to indulge the tired body after a long journey. Indonesia has it all. Its warm-hearted people will welcome you and guide you on a journey through its natural wonders, through past and present. Indonesia, simply unforgettable.
We are, all of us, the residents of a swiftly shrinking globe, where what was once local is fast becoming global, and our decisions and opinions resonate well beyond our own borders. Join me each week, your host, Al Zucaro, from the epicenter of the Western Hemisphere, Boca Raton, Florida, in sunny South Palm Beach County, for a pointed look at politics, immigration, culture, and what it means to be a citizen of the world.
What's the matter?
Trouble with a car insurance claim.
Claim trouble.
You should just switch to Allstate and get their new claim satisfaction guarantee.
Hey, he's right, man.
Only Allstate puts their money where their mouth is.
Yep,
Claim service so good, it's guaranteed.
so I can always count on them. Unlike Randy over there.
That's one dumb dude.
The new claim satisfaction guarantee. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
This summer, Dollywood unleashes Barnstormer. Fly by the seat of your pants.